We are brought to you by Tab Touch. Got the touch? Download the Tab Touch app today. What's gambling really costing you? My name's Nick Reardon, joined by Ryan Daniels and Xavier Ellis. What's going on, gents?
Well, I'd like to table something first.
Right, while you do it, because it's always that awkward cracking of a can. So just, there it is.
Yeah.
Now I'm good to go for the next hour.
Is this a sponsor thing? Is this Coke Zeros now in the family?
He's got rid of SodaStream.
No, SodaStream. So SodaStream,
which we found out was part of the Middle East conflict.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
No, so
allegedly,
this is how I operate: jug of water in the fridge, into my SodaStream,
just regular water.
Yeah,
it's gonna be cold though. Yeah,
cold, and then so I hold it down for I don't know 7 to 15 seconds.
Fizz
the life out of it. I go through a canister a week virtually.
Jeez.
And then away it goes. Anyway, Em's gone and had a colonoscopy.
Oh.
And she's railroaded my bloody ice jug, my water jug, with the shitty stuff.
Oh, the stuff you got to run through. Yeah, right.
So my jug's out of bounds. So now I've been left with either warm soda water out of the tap.
No good.
Or I've had to go buy a couple of things. So I've got a drink and a coffee. And
Got a couple of drinks going on here.
Got it all happening.
Okay, so what happens with the poo water? Like,
it would have to go through the dishwasher.
after she's done.
Yeah.
You could probably use a colonoscopy.
No, I'm pretty healthy.
Are you?
Yeah.
We can get run through. Just
Clear the pipes. Just get it.
The only thing is I'll probably enjoy it and I'll be back every 6 months.
That's true. Well,
true.
that relates to the first thing I was going to bring up because you've got your little
what is
vintage handbag, man bag thing that's going on here, which you pulled the can of Coke Zero out of like you're Mary Poppins. It's super weird. You just, for me to just, can you hold it up
It's
for the
not
people
weird.
watching on YouTube? Can you pick up the little case?
I think it's brilliant. So my day-to-day at the moment, this is what I carry. Now, don't get me wrong, I can do radio early in the morning and then dart back and forth.
Don't ever see people.
With this picture...
The cameras are everywhere. You don't need to move around.
No, I'm looking on...
What are you looking for?
I'm looking there. That's perfect.
Okay.
There's
You've
the
lost
bag.
it.
It's a little... Is it a brand?
That's old, though. This is old. It's got red satin lining.
Look at that. And then you just clip it up.
What is in there?
What is in there?
What's so important that you need to carry a little bag? It looks like just crumpled up pieces of paper.
No, what is in here? Okay, to start with,
And
I've
a peg.
got
This is notes.
Nurofen.
Sure.
Yeah. Needed.
I've got spare pair of glasses.
Right.
I've got some Post-it notes.
Cool. You never know when you're going to need those.
Breathalyzer.
Is that literally a breathalyzer?
Some gardening seeds if I need to go
Sure.
gardening.
Just need to plant something.
Sunscreen.
Yeah, you use that all the time.
A bit of
What's
cologne.
that? You've got a whole bottle of cologne in there.
And then like a couple of photos of the kids. So they're in there. Mirror if you ever want to pop a pimple.
You've got a mirror.
Mate, I got it all in
Big
here.
time.
When was the last time you looked in one?
If you did a post on yay or nay, I'm hearing a lot of yays.
Okay.
Car keys, all sorts of bits and
Now,
pieces.
where did you get the case? Because it looks like you've picked it up at an op shop.
Yeah, is it your granddad's or something? Or your grandmother's?
No, it's just a bloody good bag. There you go, pop
Where
it in.
did you get it?
Doesn't matter where I got it.
Did you get it from like curbside pickup or something?
No.
No, tell
I can't
us.
say where I got it from.
Why?
Because I stole it.
Where did you just steal it from?
Get nervous. I've lost my headphones. I just pinched it from someone's house one day. It's all good. They're dead now. They won't worry about it. Anyway.
You've stolen it from a senior citizen because clearly it's 100 years old.
It's not bad, though, when you think about it.
Is it a men's
That's shocking.
one?
That's a lady's purse.
It looks like a lady's purse.
There's not even any dispute.
Is it unisex?
You are ridiculous.
So you reckon that's a no-go?
That's an absolute no-go.
It looks...
Yeah, I reckon you just got to soften yourself a bit, mate.
No.
To be honest with you,
You
it's
gotta
all about
open yourself
conveniency. It's small, it's light. I can fit half a house in it.
Well, he's got a mirror in there.
Yeah.
And a little bit of cologne. He comes across as a hard-edged everyman.
yeah, he
he's
needs to
he's
check-
a little princess over
Checking
here.
his appearance every day.
Meanwhile,
Spare
I
set
want
of glasses.
to pivot onto you, Nicholas Wren,
What
because
have I done?
I've been
Not
meaning
much.
to bring this up for a while. Because there's
Yes.
been some red flags,
Yeah.
and I know you would have noticed.
No,
that.
I've noticed a lot more content floating around.
This is where I'm going.
Okay, go.
This is
Oh,
where
yeah,
I'm going.
okay.
So on the weekend, just a tweet spotted Andrew McQualter's in the Brisbane Broncos coach's box. I'm like Gossip Girl, XOXO. Now I've
I'm a bit
noticed that
tired.
Nicholas here has just he's ramped up the content.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Ramped it up.
he's tagging into the Hardball Gets socials too. So follow the socials.
that.
Follow the
Yeah, yeah,
socials.
yeah.
Hardball Gets.
So he's
And Nick
a lot of
Sport.
these posts
Well,
are like,
you don't need to follow you because you're in it every time now.
Yeah, it's true. You're in there.
I'll hijack him.
a lot of the posts are, Nick's reading this book,
Yeah.
or he's just sitting and thinking
Nah,
about
that's dried
things.
up. The books ones are dried up.
It didn't get much traction.
Engagement wasn't as what I was expecting.
Well, to be,
you got to test and learn sometimes.
to be honest with you, I couldn't give less about the books.
That Nick's reading. What about the ones where he posts, he's like, just thinking about this that happened 10 years ago, and he's just sitting there silently sipping a tea, looking at it.
Yep.
You like those?
No.
Okay.
No, they're going
So
well.
now, how does it feel?
They're
When you
going well,
how
mate.
does it feel getting bullied before the podcast starts? Do you like
fine.
it?
We normally don't turn on
Well,
me.
yeah, I know, but I'm normally bullied the rest of the podcast.
Oh, yeah, you're-
I don't comment at the start, but it goes after that.
So what's the plan here? Where are you going with this? What are you
just
becoming an
I'm
influencer
just
like our
testing
man
some
Zane?
stuff out.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
just testing some different.
Having said that,
formats.
you are the journalist amongst us three.
Hold on. I'm a
Well,
journalist.
your last story you broke was 2011.
Okay.
Nick, when did you stop reporting?
Okay. It was probably like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, so
Okay.
2018 or
Yeah,
something.
I'm,
So
a,
yeah.
I'm a journo.
it's a really loose term. It's a very loose term. Ryan broke a story today on radio that it was
Oi.
17th v 18th in the Derby. That was his breaking
That,
story.
I did not call that.
That was
a break.
his. That was his historical piece.
That's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
what I said at all. I said I
Don't
haven't
go too
checked-
early because I'm actually going to talk about what you did talk about.
Oh,
in
okay.
my-
Oh, right.
Sure. Okay. All right. So we're good. We're good to go.
Let's do this.
Just Nick, just pause on the content for a while. Maybe go back to
No, I'm
some
gonna ramp it
focus
up
groups. Get some ideas. Don't just start throwing stuff out there.
This
I
is
reckon you-
that is the mate. That's the sandbox.
I
That's the
reckon you've
focus
changed
group.
up your meds.
Yeah.
Just stick to what you know, Nicky boy. Just stick to what you know.
Lean into the weed market. That's exploding.
Oh, the little, like,
Medical
yeah,
marijuana
this
and
is
all
true.
that. That's your space.
I actually, in all seriousness, I have a pretty sore back. I would get
You
into the
got gummies.
medicinal stuff. I would if it was going to make my back feel better. 100%.
Same. Next soda stream will be out, and it's like THC gummies.
I can't wait for this.
All right, let's go, Zave.
I'll start. Hawthorn Footy Club, obviously too good for Carlton. It was meant to absolutely bucket down in Melbourne during that game. I was ringing my brother asking for forecasts and whatnot. He's sending me videos of torrential rain.
Yeah.
And then how good is it sometimes? I know we peck on Melbourne's weather and it does rain and whatnot and 4 seasons in one day. But how good is it when it's actually clear on that little moment for 2.5 hours?
Yeah, it's
It may-
fantastic.
Yeah, you're pumped for the Thursday night football, but Hawthorn, brilliant. Now, I want to ask two things. Right now, we spoke about this earlier. Who would you take, John Newcombe or Sam Walsh?
John Newcombe.
Yep.
John Newcombe, yep. And how does their forward line actually settle? Fast forward 10 weeks, Hawthorn. Mitch Lewis,
We still don't know
Yeah,
about Mitch.
are you saying that Chol doesn't just kick 4 or
No,
5
but that's
every
what I'm
week?
saying. It's Chol, because obviously Deer's not there either, and we all
Yeah.
fell in love with Deary last year. Mitch Lewis kicked 70 goals in 29 games, so he can play. 70 goals in 29 games. There's not a team in the comp that's not taking that.
Yeah, but you can't really. He's injured so often, you can't rely on him being.
Yeah, I
there,
know.
right?
He missed last year with that. Slow and then knocked himself out and did his ACL. But in 10 weeks' time, to Hawthorn, Sam Mitchell spoke about when he first started, saying, we can't do what Melbourne are doing. Melbourne were the team at the time that were the best. We can't play. They're better than us at that. Is the best thing for Hawthorn now just the one tall and then get all the whippets? And that's the next...
Maybe.
Is it literation?
Alliteration's like 3 letters.
Well,
3 words.
like, what's the next...
Iteration?
Iteration.
Yeah,
Close.
okay.
Is that the next iteration?
Yeah,
You're not
That's
far
not
off the
bad
mark.
by me.
Iteration. Yeah.
Is that the next iteration? Is key forwards are just a thing of the past?
Alliteration. would
Now
be
he's
like
just throwing it in. Like,
happy, hungry hawks.
Yeah, is that like the next thing? Is sorry if you got 3 key forwards, bad luck.
Well,
Is it-
that's the old Richmond model, the first Richmond flag, right? With Jack Rewald and then
Jack
just
and the
heaps of
Whippets,
smalls.
yeah.
So are you saying that this might be the undoing of Hawthorn? If in 10 weeks they go, right, let's bring Mitch
Well, who
Lewis,
knows?
Cal
But I'm just saying, what is the best?
Oh, well, this is working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so. How do they wade through that situation?
Look, if Mitch Lewis is healthy, he's the guy. Chol's out and he's the guy.
But he's gonna take-
if you're just playing one. I think
so 2 phones is not playing.
not if you want to go with that model. If
Yeah.
you're saying I only want
But is
one,
that the model?
what's working?
Yeah.
I don't think Deer
Stick
fits
with
into that
whatever works.
space. I reckon Deer's an in-betweener. I reckon
I love Deary.
he's just
Deary
a bit
has
quirky.
Yeah.
He's got a bit of
He can
space.
he's very uncanny.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. I'll go next. Okay, the Adelaide Crows. Let's start there. 161 points.
Oh.
Phew, geez.
and
MCG, their first win at the ground since 2017.
My Oz kick team, pre-primary orange,
Yeah.
could score 100 against Essendon.
Yeah, well, we'll get to Essendon. Don't you worry about
Yeah,
that.
but 160?
Now, that was their first win at the G
Massive.
since before their grand final loss.
Yes.
That's how, and they only played 12 games there, but still. Is it real because, as you say, Essendon, dog's breakfast, as tipped by me. Terrible list.
Well done to you.
But then you give them extra credit for St Kilda last week.
Well,
that St Kilda
I know St Kilda beat Geelong, but St Kilda were also a team that we think are going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
So their next 3 games are North Melbourne, that's at home in Adelaide, Gold Coast on the Gold Coast, and then Geelong in Adelaide.
If they're serious, they go 3-0.
Well, yeah, there's 2 home games, right?
If they are genuine contend.
I could say 2-1. I'd still consider it.
2-1 you're taking.
Yeah, because
Gold Coast on the Gold Coast.
2-1 you're taking.
Absolutely.
If they go 3-0, your chips in that they are
1 and 2. Then there's some serious
1 and
question
2. Then it's still like you're just ahead of the ledger.
It's pretty clear they've brought in Cumming and Peatley not to be stars, to play roles.
Well, I'm also not sure that was clear. I think they're finding out that they're not stars.
Well, whatever it is, it's turning out that they're role players, which is fine, right?
Because Peatling's earning a stack. Yeah. And as I said, if Peatling didn't play those last 3 games of the season, there would be no market for Peatling.
Yeah.
But they also just leaned into the fact that they already had stars. They just probably weren't using them well.
Well, yeah, the midfield's looking great. Crouch is playing really well. Saligo, who you wrote off before the season
because I rode right in.
Yeah.
I've ridden into him, and now I've had to backpedal. I've colonoscopied him. And now I've got to get out of there. I've been that into him.
You've been in with the camera.
But also, I'm Josh Tracy through and through. I think he'll be the best forward in the competition of the year. I tell you, I think he's going to be the second best forward in the
Thriller.
The Thriller.
So you're saying the next iteration of Thriller's career is to be
Tracy and Thriller.
Right, they're the 2. And Darcy.
Sam Darcy.
Oh, sorry, and Sam Darcy. Yeah,
There's
Sam
those
Darcy.
3.
They are, and Thriller, who they took pick 2.
Yeah, it was a high pick.
I think pick 2. And
after Ugle Hagen, I think.
Yeah, it could have been. We were like, oh goodness, this is not what we thought. And then last year he's launched. He's a thing. And like Tex and Big Dars, they're second, third bananas.
When the forward line gets going, they're very hard to stop.
And they kick it beautifully, all of them.
They do.
We'll go to... I do the teams, and I've somehow given myself both teams that had the bye, so I don't know how that worked. But I'll go to Western Bulldogs. We'll start there.
I know
So
how.
how much can an umpire / free kick differential actually impact a game?
Which team is this you're doing?
Western Bulldogs.
Oh,
So it's 14:33
absolutely it
on
can.
Friday night.
Well, yeah, it affects
to that
the game.
extent.
But they always say the free kick count's not meant to be even.
No.
It's not
If
meant
they're
to be-
there, they're there.
That's a bit of a disparity. I think I'll have to go back and check, but I think early it was like 5-1 to the Dogs. So from a certain point in time, they just got nothing.
Yeah.
Sports is littered with human error.
Of course.
Player error, coach error, and definitely umpire error. And it does impact games. You could go to every game and say, every close game, and say this call could have changed the way that game played out because of momentum or whatever.
But we are in the sporting world so
It
up
happens.
our own clackers because when they do bring in technology, we go, how long
Oh,
is
this
this
bloody
going to take?
thing's taking forever.
How long is this going to take? Do you know what I mean?
Fast forward 20 years,
And
and,
then-
it's all robot umpires.
Yeah, well, but that count is out of whack. But I won't cop a 25 to 15. You've been hard done by.
No, no.
Like
Yeah,
I won't
no,
cop
no,
that.
no.
That is out of whack
14,
significantly.
33
And you
is a
saw a
bit.
couple of them early where Darcy spoiled a couple and they free kick against, free kick against. I was like, geez, that's a bit sharp.
And a few of those things that they will get, like the shrug tackles, which is meant to be just play on now, they just get paying them and things like that. But very good at night from the Bulldogs, and considering the fact that they've Bontempelli-less.
Yep.
Even better with Fraser and
Is there-
Ed Richards coming along.
Have you guys ever umpired? Just back on that. Any level of any sport?
One scratchy.
One scratchy. Did you ever do any umpiring?
Probably.
I was a basketball ref for like 2 seasons
Yeah.
while I was at uni. And it's so shit. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
yeah.
hard to do. And we'd have games where you'd be refereeing with another guy who might not be the strongest ref.
Yeah.
And things would just start spiraling from the first 5 minutes, and you just knew that next 45 minutes was going to be shit.
Yeah.
And the players are at you, and you're making mistakes because you're under pressure.
Yeah.
And I mean, these guys are professionals, so they're a lot
they're
better than
paid,
I was,
yeah.
and they're paid good money to do it. But you can just see how these things can get out of hand. So sometimes there's just a game like that where afterwards you're walking away going, "What was with the umps?"
Well, but also there's some games where there's just for lack of the draw, there's no grey area free kicks.
Yeah.
And then there's some where there's 20.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what it is. Hey, Collingwood, off the back of that, I just want to play a little bit of audio from Steel Side Bottom on
he's
the
done pre-work.
Yeah, Jesus.
pre-work this on the Saturday rub. I absolutely love this. So this is Steel Side Bottom with JB Billy in that gang.
Well, I shit myself there in the middle of the ground there and probably cost us the goal. Probably just wasn't fully committed. Probably felt a little bit of that perceived pressure and definitely had a look. Libbo did remind me, he's just asked, you might have a bit of poo in your jock there, I reckon, mate.
Did he really?
Which is great.
I absolutely love that.
Absolutely.
He's played 330 games, and he can put his hand up and say, I shit myself. I
Yeah.
actually panicked, and I got scared.
Yeah.
Every single footballer, I don't care who you are, has at some stage, and some do it weekly, some do it yearly, some do it two or three times in their career.
Yeah.
Every single footballer has ducked their head or shirked
At
a
some
contest
Yeah.
and side bottom to get on the radio and play the audio of him saying, hey, I cost our team a goal. It is clear as day what happened.
Yeah.
I just thought that was brilliant.
Normalise it.
Because people in
Normalise
the
pooping your
crowd,
pants.
people in the crowd are like, oh, weak dog, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I guarantee, not 100% of people sitting in that crowd
Would do the
in
same.
the middle of the MCG, 85,000,
Yeah.
when you don't know what's coming, and it wouldn't happen every time. But I'm telling you,
It's gonna
football
happen.
is hard, and if Still Side Bottom can get on radio and say that is what happened,
It's good.
Who are in your time in football, and maybe now, who are the three most likely players to never ever go through that? Only
Well,
because they were mentally deranged from a physicality.
The only reason why I say I know for a fact Sam Mitchell shit himself because
Yep.
he pulled out of a contest I didn't, and I got cleaned up and he didn't. so he used to always use that as an example. Like there's reasons why you don't always go.
The one that
Because
comes to my brain is like Hodgie.
Well, Hodgie and Campbell Brown, but I reckon Hodgie would have. But they're smart
big
enough.
one.
They would have done it.
They would have at some stage.
Bo
It's
Waters?
gonna happen at-
I
He
reckon
would
Bo
have.
Waters was
But he
the
would have
latest.
opted. He would have
Yeah.
opted not to go. Which is
you
another
reckon?
form that
They make a better decision earlier.
So you turn around and go front and square rather than it's a mark. But you know deep down,
Yeah, right.
if you had just gone, you would have worn a knee and he wouldn't have marked.
Well,
it.
there's a reason he retired at 27.
Yeah.
But like they're all the toughest
The top
players.
1%
Ga-
of toughness.
Higher than
And
1%.
they-
Like
yeah.
they guarantee they would have done it. But anyway, I thought that was good audio.
Yeah, very good.
And
North
did you
Mel-
like me bringing a bit in?
Yeah,
I did like
When
that.
was this teed up?
Triple M actual work will be going, how about you start doing that for your job?
Pulled that out of his little suitcase over there.
yeah.
He brought some audio with him.
Buried underneath the
let me
ibuprofen.
clip that back up. Thank you, Joshy.
Let's do Brisbane. They just look, that could have gone really pear-shaped, and it was going pear-shaped for 3/4. You always felt that West Coast in those conditions, really high humidity, travel, all that, young team.
What is going on with the fixturing at the moment? It's a bit all over the place.
It's
isn't it?
almost like whoever's done the fixture has never been to Perth or Brisbane.
But he's
at
from
this time
Perth.
of year.
But-
Well, I know it's just so hot.
No, but also, last week there was zero overlap.
Yeah,
on the
Yeah,
Sunday.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there was a tiny
This
bit
week
of
there was overlap. Like,
Yeah.
just be better at just not having the overlap.
Yeah. So they got it done. It was hardly convincing, but good teams just find a way to win when they're playing
Yeah.
shit. They were
I
off.
reckon Fags have a few little alarm bells.
Absolutely.
Because there's no Joe Danaher. He's not coming back.
Yeah,
Like, there's
yeah.
some bits and pieces like that are not going to be fixed.
No, and if Harris Andrews doesn't play yesterday, I reckon they lose.
Well, Harris Andrews was as shaky as anyone early.
Yeah.
Like
Late, he was very
late. Andrews, Lester, and Zorko.
good. Yeah, just ate everything.
It was just experience.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
far too good.
Logan Morris looks a real winner.
Yeah.
We've flagged him as someone we like, and I think we're bang on about that one.
He has
He's
a
gonna
little
be very
bit
good.
of he's going to knock himself out at some stage.
He's a bit of a lunatic.
In those contests that they
Yep.
jump at, a bit like Deer, who we spoke
Oh, yeah,
about.
who did he kill?
Yeah.
He killed his
Like,
own teammate.
He killed his own
Archie
teammate at
got
one
the back of his
stage.
head.
Yep.
Like, he's going to land awkwardly at some stage, and that'll
Yeah.
be it for a day or a week or whatever.
I feel like Brisbane, I remember last year they started really poorly.
Yeah.
They've won 2 games now where they just got over the line
Sydney,
against
the
Sydney.
SCG, though. That's a big
win. And then beating West Coast, who were
Yeah.
better than they've been so far this season. But for Brisbane, it's pretty clear. They've just got to make the top 6 and then let things hopefully fall their way.
If they hadn't won the flag last year,
Yeah.
your mate Cam Rayner would start to be having a few questions asked about him.
Yeah, he's had a very slow
He's had
start,
a very slow start to the year, Cam Rayner, but they won the flag. So
I
it's like,
guarantee Cam
oh, well.
Rayner,
Yeah,
we're going
doesn't
to
matter.
wake
And
up.
he played well in the finals. It's fine.
He'll
Give him time.
retire at some point. We'll be like, oh, I thought he was 25.
Yeah.
Because it feels
Yeah.
like Cam Rayner's been around
Tim
forever.
O'Brien.
Yeah.
Timo,
yeah.
he's still playing.
Yeah,
T.O.
he's at Geelong now.
Yeah, shit.
I love how sometimes we're clearly short of the 2 minutes, but Josh knows.
He's a
And then
natural gap.
What time were we then out of interest?
That was actually bang on.
I was
was
going
it?
to say,
Oh, really?
I had the clock
Felt good.
going. I
Did ya?
thought it was
The
about
mental
2.
clock.
Yeah.
The old
Get
Jack
to stop
Reacher.
watching your
Actually, I've got the
suitcase.
old hand watch. I was rocking. Did you see me rocking one of them recently?
What, a stopwatch?
I did see that.
The
actually,
little,
yeah.
the little gold
Oh, like
handpiece.
on a little dongle
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's probably in there.
It's
Old
probably in there.
school.
All right, well, let's go. Well, we might as well stop and go to West Coast. So that was much better. But it's pretty clear now Liam Baker needs to be in the middle for them.
Well, they need 3 of him.
They need 3. Yeah, he needs to be in every line. But plenty of better efforts from the older fellas. Tim Kelly. Liam Ryan, who I didn't know had that in
Mate,
him anymore.
flying.
Yeah.
We knew he had it in him.
Yeah, but not.
I saw the
yeah.
vision from Freo, mate. He had it in him. He's got flying can move, mate. Flying can move. No, funnily enough, I had to do a best 22 for West Coast.
Yeah.
And
You left him out.
You left him out.
by accident. And as soon as the TV came on, I was like,
Oh, whoops.
oh shit, I need to make a
But
live.
then you made a line.
I made a live change and sacked someone. Matt Always on the spot got the arse.
Oh, yeah.
You got always out.
He got the arse. Yeah, straight away. Anyway, flying slid into the DMs.
Did he?
Yeah, off it. Yeah, he loved it. Yeah.
But I suppose the game now for West Coast is not so much what happens with those older fellas. It's just finding anyone young. And you can probably add that Dewar to the list now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Is it Tyrell?
Tyrell.
Tyrell Dewar.
Tyrell
Yeah,
Dewar.
He
Can play.
doesn't need to do 14 and 2 at halftime again. That's
No,
that's abnormal.
But at
Like,
least you know he's got it in him.
he's got it in him.
Yeah.
I don't think Derm had any idea where he was playing. Oh, he's gone from the back pocket to the forward pocket in 8 seconds. He's the fastest wingman we've ever seen. He'd have to win the 2K time trial. I was like, he's playing there, mate. That's where he's playing. Anyway, no, absolutely. And another one with 7 clearances, Clay Hall. I know he probably ran out a fair bit of
Yeah,
puff.
big- yeah,
7
yeah.
clearances, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's still a reasonably good game.
So he's getting closer to, but the Dewar you would suggest now is probably a tick in terms of like.
Absolutely. You
That's,
found
so
one.
that's like
Found one. Put him on the
Harley
list.
Reid,
Yep.
Hoff, Dewar, Jinby.
Yep.
They're all the ticks so far,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And I think you can put Hewitt on that list.
You can probably put
Even
Hewitt
though
on
They're
he
not
hasn't
massive
played.
ticks.
Taking a
though.
while.
No,
They're ticking away.
Yeah.
They're ticking
Yeah, they just
positions.
need ticks.
If it
These
was
are
a
not-
3-tick system, they've got 1 tick.
And I thought that the ruck's going down.
I think actually Hoff's got 2. I'll give Hoff 2.
Yeah, I think
He's
that's
going to be a really good
He's
I
player.
think Williams went down with cramp after
Severe cramp.
67 minutes
Yes.
of game time.
Oh yeah, what is it?
Um,
Severe medical cramp.
yeah.
Oh, that's strange.
But I actually, as a second ruck option, not against Big O, because Reed went down so really quickly, Jimby's their best runner.
Yeah.
By miles.
definitely.
Yeah,
Right.
by a long
I'm not
way.
against him being the second ruck,
he's
against
power.
second ruckman,
Yeah.
not Big O.
Yeah, okay.
And I actually quite like that.
If West Coast play like that every week and they find a couple of kids, I reckon their fans will tick
yeah.
off the season.
Yeah.
Even if they don't win that many games,
They
that's
need
what
to-
they want.
Need to compete.
That's
this
what they
week.
want.
Yep.
Let's go to Sydney's. We spoke this morning, Rhino. You had the Chad Warner was outstanding yesterday.
He was best on.
He would have to have the 10 coaches' votes
Yep.
wrapped up. I thought he actually any danger of just turning ahead at times. So he was standing at clearances by himself.
It was weird,
Like
wasn't
it was just zero accountability in there. Anyway, we digress. You said this morning on radio on the Triple M that you thought that the wheel had turned back in Sydney's favour.
I just said if there was a betting market, I would be putting my money on him staying at Sydney for a couple of years. Now, these wins of Chad Warner have changed so many times.
Yeah.
If you'd asked me a year ago, I would have said he's going to Fremantle. If you asked me 6 months ago, I would have said he's going to West Coast. Now I'm feeling like it's Sydney. So I'm aware that I'm flip-flopping, and as a lot of people are on this.
Well, I know Sydney.
Sydney are getting confident.
Sydney would be extremely
They are.
surprised if he went elsewhere. Extremely surprised.
I know his teammates are really confident now. I know the hierarchy there.
But
are
I
feeling
would
pretty
say,
good.
that you as you only hear the one side essentially.
There's a couple of sides.
No, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
feel as though like Lance Franklin, for example.
Yeah. That was out of the blue.
Yeah.
Mate, and that's why...
Cherry, like sometimes you just
Correct.
I know I'm hearing that West Coast he was pretty eager at some stage about West Coast.
Yep.
As an opportunity, so I'm saying West Coast.
Yeah.
But right now you watch him live, and maybe we
yeah.
see Sydney once a year.
Yeah. Here.
He is a match winner.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's accumulators in the midfield. Every club's got them.
There was two
There
players...
are match winners,
Yeah.
and he is one, and there's very few. Not every team's got one.
No, there was two players out there yesterday who could push through the traffic. One of them was not ready, which was Shea, but he had a couple of moments where he just went around.
He also
the
tried to do
blockages.
too much.
He did,
Yeah.
because he's rusty.
But also trying to be like, shit, this is what I'm here to do.
But
This
you
is-
could see it,
Yeah, of
and you
course.
could see it with Chad,
Yeah.
because it was just like, okay, well, I don't care about the congestion. I'm just going to go this way, and
Yeah.
you're going to think I'm going the other way.
Yeah.
And not many people can do that, so that's where the game breakers come in. That's why he's so unique, because there's a lot of good midfielders out there.
Because there was times where the ball ended up with, for example, Voss,
Yeah.
who tries hard.
Yeah, we'll get to
but,
Fremantle.
But you're like, oh, geez, you'd love Bolton just to get his hands on
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
This is me. Oh, we'll do Fremantle now then. The errors from the bottom end were just atrocious. Like you talk about Voss, who I will say gives
Tries hard,
100%, and he's
Yeah,
a massive unit, and he plays with every bit of energy. But
He's
if
just not a
you're
great kick
if
and
you're
goal.
free and you're going right, okay, Liam Reedy, we'll go him. Geez, he got pantsed. Okay, we'll mix it up. We'll put Jacko in the ruck, and that will get Voss up forward. Okay, but then he's not taking his chances. They're really damned if whichever way they go down that path. And Voss had a couple of he missed an easy set shot. And that kick that he sent to the corridor.
He didn't mean to send
He
it
didn't
there, but
because,
yeah.
and I was right behind that. So what happened was he was trying to send it forward. The Sydney defender came right at him and forced him to kick that way.
Well, he shanked it. It was a shank.
And he shanked it. So that was one. Erasmus had a couple of moments where he wasn't up to it. Brennan Cox, I don't know how he lost that wrestle with Amati so easily.
Did that go down as a contested mark out of interest?
I don't know. I'm not
Probably.
It was uncontested in the end.
It started contested and it was uncontested.
Pretty quickly.
Bailey Banfield kicked a great goal, but he had a couple of moments.
Yeah.
So it's just that same group of guys all the time. Bolton was rusty, but there were signs there that he's going to do something at some point. They desperately need a decent ball user off halfback. So Clark is okay, but his main thing is dash, right? And he was pretty good yesterday. When they were trying to win it, he was in it.
Wagner's
Luke Ryan's an interesting one for me because I think Luke Ryan is a good player. I think he's a really good AFL player, actually. He's been an All-Australian.
Best and fairest, I'm sure.
But so Sicily is Hawthorn's Luke Ryan. Same size defender. And I think, but if Sicily is in that role, the kicking is different because he's an elite
But
kicker.
Sicily's like the best kick in the competition.
Well, I know. So it's a tough thing.
Or just pick yesterday's. Roberts off halfback.
Yeah.
Bice, the last.
Right, Bice.
My God.
3 bits of play at
Yeah.
the end. And Lloyd uses it nicely.
So
there's
I want,
three.
I want
Yeah.
if Luke Ryan, who we've always thought has been a good kick, that was his MO early. Well, Luke Ryan's a good kick, but he's not doing that anymore. He's not taking it on with his
hanging
kicking.
him up.
He's either going short and safe or he's going really long and safe.
Well, that's why the numbers, I think, at Fremantle can look nice.
Yes.
Because it's the lateral, not the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
You're meant to turn 2 out of 10 over.
Yeah.
You're just meant to.
I think they
if
need.
you're taking the right
I think they need
options.
Luke Ryan to take more chances.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't disagree.
Before I get into my next team, as a proud major sponsor of the Fremantle Football Club, Woodside has accepted the challenge of supporting local footy at all levels, from grassroots to greatness, so it can thrive throughout WA. Woodside, Australia's leading energy company. All right, next team is Gold Coast. So, of the bye, so we actually don't have much to talk about here. But
Mac Andrews returns. That's what you can talk about.
Is he actually coming back this
I
week?
just assume so. It said 1 week, 2 weeks
So this is what I was
ago.
going to say. So they're going to be in the 8, which they currently are. They've somehow played 1 game in 3 weeks. Some teams have played 3, but Gold Coast are in the 8. If they are playing finals this year, they've got to have 3 players pretty firmly in All-Australian contention, right? About that. Or in the 40.
3.
So who are they? So
Well-
Matt Rowell off round 1.
Yeah.
Noah Anderson.
Noah Anderson. And then who's the
Mac
third?
Daddy.
Mac.
Mac
Yeah, after
Daddy.
he kicked 60.
Someone like Daniel Rioli.
Yeah, Daniel.
Yeah, I
Rioli.
think Daniel.
Because
yeah.
I think watching him in that first game, and I know they pantsed West Coast, but they've been looking for that for years. They've tried everyone in that
Just a
role.
good user
Everyone's
who
played off halfback at
And
some point.
Noble as well with the dash. He's
Noble
got
as well.
over
But
there.
I reckon,
But Noble's from
he's not
the
a Rioli,
the
yeah.
Wish version of Rioli.
yeah, Rioli's a class
Timo.
above, and he's been peppering that for a while.
He came in the same delivery as Rono's sneakers.
No, these are the real ones.
Are these the real deal?
I've got some Timos and I've got some real ones.
Yeah,
These are the-
did you notice he was in early today?
Oh,
He
wow.
doesn't have blisters or splinters or anything in his team moves. He's walking freely.
Yeah,
today.
exactly.
He's
He
moving
made
well.
very nicely.
Upstairs.
But you go through it really quickly. Maybe King could be another option for Australia.
King
I
could
know
be.
he bashed up West Coast, but the key forwards aren't doing a great deal.
That's
No.
true.
except
Yeah,
Tracy and Darcy.
Yeah, there's,
and Phil.
there's a handful that are doing stuff, but
Yeah.
there's not many.
There's a changing of
God,
the
has that
guard.
already changed this year?
It's
Yeah,
the changing of the guard.
Give it 10
Who's leading the
10
Coleman?
games?
Well,
Right
Tracy's
now.
got 5, so it's not him. King's kicked. King
kicked
kicked
6.
5 or 6 against
Six.
West Coast.
I will eat my hat if you can. There's quite a few on 6, but it's Larky with 8.
Yeah,
Then
right.
Darcy Fogarty with 7.
Yep.
And then the 6s of like Jack Higgins, Paul Curtis, Dylan Moore, Josh Rochelle, Zach Merritt.
Zach Merritt kicked
Merritt.
6.
He kicked 4 on the weekend.
God. Imagine if they didn't have Zach Merritt.
So who's Gold Coast got this week, Nick?
Oh, look, I'll tell you. They got a very good...
You would have thought that you would have had that bit down.
well,
Do you want me to tell
Melbourne.
you?
When you do the research,
Melbourne at the MCG.
start with the draw. That's always a good place to start.
Melbourne at the MCG. Oh, and they're favourites. Just.
There you go.
Hey, Geelong, I know they beat up on Freo down in Geelong. Their record against... I had a mate at the pub on Saturday who backed St Kilda.
Yeah, I saw this stat.
And he was just like, and he didn't do it with enough conviction to get people over the line in his beliefs.
Right.
But he did enough for himself to get over the line. Geelong's record at Eddie had
Yeah, against St Kilda.
against St Kilda, and I said, well, they wouldn't have done it. And he went to last year. He goes, look, even last year they lost.
Yep.
Geelong, I don't think I had them falling off the perch a little bit this year, and I know Bailey Smith didn't play, and I get all that. But there's a lot of names now on that list that I start to think, gee, you're getting some passengers. If Holmes gets tagged out of the game, which he was. Windhager did a marvellous job there.
He's good, Windhager.
Yeah, and committed and did not let him off the hook. You lose Tom Stewart
Yes.
to an injury.
Big loss.
Then all of a sudden, the tail, which we all used to think at St Kilda, at Geelong, wasn't the longest tail, is now there's more tail than body.
Well, because they're transitioning.
Correct, but I think we all still think after Fremantle demolished them.
Yeah.
And I look like an absolute dick then because I thought that maybe...
Now you're back on.
Well, now I'm not convinced they're going to be much good.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced.
There's more questions than answers in that team now.
Like Neil, O'Sullivan, like there's names, O'Connell, there's names you'll never... If I said to Closey, can you find them in a lineup?
Yeah.
You're probably just picking the athletic ones and saying you play at Geelong.
Yeah.
Like there's names, Jack Bowes, those sort of guys.
Mate, you had Bose as All-Australian
Correct.
just about.
I'm off now. I'm off. He's on the banned
That
list.
was one of the more wild throws at the stumps we've
Banned
ever seen.
list for life, Jack
Hey,
Bowes.
can I ask, just pivot off that. You called it Etihad. Why do you think Etihad
Why is that stuck?
Because there's been Marvel, there's been Telstra,
Nah,
there's been Etihad.
There's a
what do
it's
you
like-
call it?
I don't know, Marvel. But
You call it Marvel?
I'd call it Marvel, but there's like a 3 or 4 year
Docklands?
after it changes.
Yeah.
I would say Telstra Dome.
I call it Etihad as well.
Etihad.
I go to Etihad. I don't know why.
How did they have it for longer?
Maybe.
Did they have it for double the length of it?
Because it was-
I think
to me,
it's
it was
just after a
Docklands
change.
for ages.
It takes a while after a change to get the old one out of you. Remember when Subi was going to be Crazy John's Stadium?
Yeah, that's right.
Remember when Marvel became Marvel and everyone was like, what is Marvel? And they're like,
Yeah.
it's the movies.
It's the movies.
Yeah.
It's the
What are they
superheroes.
naming after
Yeah.
Marvel
Is this
for?
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go Port Adelaide. Party time for them. Hard to get a read on that game. That was just an absolute bloodbath. Richmond we'll get to, but they've regressed clearly. The Hornet had to go forward when Lukosius went out. I don't think we've got a prognosis on Lukosius yet, do we?
No, he's out. He's like months.
Medial?
Fractured kneecap.
Oh,
It didn't look great. Georgiades is ready. It's his forward line now. I mean,
Well, he
Lukosius
moves
is
well.
out, Marshall's out, Dixon's
Looks
gone.
bigger.
No, he's mate. I've been high on Georgiades for years, and he had a couple of injuries which slowed him down. But I just think this guy, he's the modern forward because he's athletic. He's a good kick of the footy when he has time, and he's got great hands, really good hands. So I really like him.
How many goals for Georgiades this year would be a pass?
I think he can kick 50.
Yeah.
Has to kick
No,
50.
a pass is 40. I think 50.
If they
can
kick
kick
40,
50.
what are they doing? They're not
Oh,
playing
no,
finals.
but we're not sure
Yeah,
about
but
Paul, are
mate,
we?
sometimes would kill for someone to kick 40.
Yeah, not as their number
Not as their number
forward.
one guy. If you're going to play finals, you probably need a 50 guy. I reckon he can get 50.
Someone capable of
Connor
playing
Rosie was a star. Rioli, genius.
Yeah, he's
Just,
clever.
really clever player.
Clever.
And Kane Farrell is clearly the one who's going into the Houston role.
Yes, that he kicks it further than Houston.
Absolutely.
And I think that more and more they need to, sometimes, for example, if you're playing and Luke Hodge runs around the back of you, you go, Luke Hodge.
Yeah.
Like every time.
Yeah.
But then if it was young Matt Suckling finding his feet, you
The
go,
pig.
hey, woo, 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 pig, slow down. They just got to take the punt that he'll make up the right decision.
So we were
Don't
talking
even,
about...
if he runs
give it to him.
past, just give it to him.
So we were talking about Fremantle.
Yep.
This is what the kind of player, right?
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
Roberts, Farrell,
yeah.
Bice. You can just find a Riley Bice off the scrap heap. I can't wait to talk about Sydney and
From
Riley Bice.
Werribee.
Werribee boy. But we like what Port did, but it's hard to get a read. That's Richmond. I know
starting to-
they beat Carlton, but it's going to be really hard to get a read on the teams that are playing Richmond each week.
They're starting to lose a few though now.
Yeah.
They're starting to lose a few. Their Butters coming back. Yeah,
He's still 4
Lukosius.
weeks
yeah,
away, I
there's
think,
still a
too.
little bit of time for those.
Yeah.
Before you know it, they can go 1 and 4. I
The
don't
forward
know
line's exposed, the back line's exposed, and
Yeah.
and now the midfield's exposed because you've got to take Horn Francis out of there to play more forward.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk to Melbourne. So on-field wise, it's over at Melbourne. Like they just didn't put up a fight against North Melbourne.
that was bad.
A lot of pep from North Melbourne, but still.
So they're
should
0-2
be beating
now,
them.
right? Because they lost the thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even.
They lost the Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't keep track of how many games who's played.
They've
and
played
everything
2
else.
and they've lost both.
So on the field, they just got a whooping, and it looks over, and it looks like,
Did you lock the under?
Yeah.
yeah,
Jeez, that's going to look good.
some of these guys are probably going to start moving on, right? Like the ones who've stayed for and they've wrapped their arms
are
around
you
them.
talking
It's
about?
Well, the good guys in the middle, so like your Petrakas and your Olivers and stuff.
Are going to go.
Well, I think some of that
So,
that
to get
angst
some
over the last
capital.
few years.
Are we in the Hawthorn space, Richmond space,
I
where you're
think so.
thinking Oliver, Petrarca, probably not Gorn because you've got to keep someone, and
he's
the
close enough to
spiritual
the
leader
end
of the
as
club.
well.
And he's
What was the latest with Gorn while we're there?
Well,
What
so
was-
that's
I
what
don't know.
that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. So, like, if
Not that
you're
we-
having a shit run off the field with something going on, wouldn't you rather just think people think you have a shit game, Like Goodwin putting it out there
I was surprised he
stank a
put
bit.
it out.
That was a
there.
mistake.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
surprised.
I reckon if he had his time again,
because then there's
he'd
three
do that.
nuffies in here going, shit, what's going on with Max Gawn?
Yeah, exactly.
So the question I think was around Max got beaten
He
today.
got beaten.
Whatever.
But Cherry's competed pretty well
Yeah,
against the
Goodwin's
Yeah.
answer could have been, look,
Yeah.
Sherry's a really good ruckman. Max
had a
is a
shit
great
day.
player, but he doesn't have 100%
Yeah.
good games. So things are going to happen.
Yeah,
I
it's
reckon
much
if he had his
easier.
time again, because now that you've said it,
Yeah.
oh, look, there's something you don't know about.
Yeah.
That's why he had a bad game.
You're
It's
just
like,
inviting speculation.
well,
and
everybody's
inviting
going to
more focus
speculate.
on
And
it,
in
right?
current day, it's not just the journos, it's everyone online. It's people on forums, like they're going mad looking for this stuff. So you invite the speculation.
No, yeah, I was surprised to hear that,
Yeah.
without giving it context of, and I'm just making this up, Max's mum's sick. Yeah, unless people go, oh, shit, okay, he's travelling back and forth to do this.
Yeah.
It's now just such an open-ended thing that you're like,
you know,
if Max is not good, then Melbourne are not good.
They're playing a lot of new people.
They are.
Like when you start to look at that list, they
Yeah,
are moving.
and they've got some kids as well
Yeah.
that are looking good.
Yeah,
But
they're definitely making some moves.
that's the podium now of there's two on the podium of coaches who regret press conferences, and Goodwin's one, and Longmuir's Vanilla is probably the other one.
Can we extend? Have you guys heard Adam Simpson on radio or on Fox at all?
Yeah,
He's very, very good.
he's very good.
No,
Very, very
I've heard he's good. He does enjoy radio more than
The
TV.
TV part, yeah. Because some of the stuff that he's coming out with is just, it's very considered.
Yeah.
It's fact-based. It's not dramatic. It's just, here's what happened, and here's what they're trying to do, and here's why it didn't work, or it did work.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to sit back and go, oh.
And do you bring Simo up because you think there might be opportunities?
I'm just
to coach
saying,
elsewhere?
like, I would say
This is what
that Adam Simpson going into the media is less about being in the media and more about saying, hey, just for everybody who's out there in clubland, I'm
still know
still
what I'm talking
here
about.
and I know what I'm talking about. So when we're talking about clubs like Melbourne, and I'm not saying that Simon Goodwin's going to go and they might turn it around and win every game from
No,
here.
they won't.
But there's going to be a bunch of teams that are looking for coaches in this year or next.
And
What Adam Simpson's doing right now is a great advertisement, because we saw Bucks do it, and Bucks was impressive in the media,
Yeah.
but he's clearly been like, I don't want to coach yet. Whereas I don't reckon Simpson's in that place. I reckon in a year,
He'd love
if
to
there are
coach.
teams coming, I reckon he'd say yes. Now there's going to be potentially Tassie's up for grabs, right? No one's talking about him for Tassie, and he might not be the guy. It might be Fagan, it might be whoever, but that's an option. If Melbourne go pear-shaped, that's an option. If the Bulldogs go pear-shaped, that's an option.
Saints.
St Kilda, I think they're married to Ross Lyon for a bit more. They just signed him, but
Fremantle.
that's not out of the question if things go really pear-shaped. So Simo is doing himself a service right now in self-advertisement, and it's a clever move.
No,
It's a
agree.
really clever move, and I'm enjoying listening.
And he's in
to
a good mood too. He's
Yeah,
always
because he's not getting blamed for stuff.
No, but yeah, like he's a good fella.
He's walking on air.
Like he's
You
a
love
happy
it.
good fella.
And he got you here.
Yeah.
He changed your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm now walking around with handbags.
Is this? Who's this? Is that yours?
No, I think we're back
Okay.
to...
Back to
Back
you.
to me. Sorry, I just quickly got out of my thing. I don't want to do this after just one round.
Oh, here we go.
But Bullet Richmond.
Fair enough.
Bullet Richmond.
It's very hard to extract anything out of that.
Oh, even like this is just
No, the
shove
bullet's a
it,
bullet. You move on
Bullet's
from
a
a
bullet.
bullet.
You
You
can't
can't
talk.
discuss the bullet.
How they lost by less than
Let's
80.
go to North Melbourne. That's a pretty significant win for them. I didn't have time to go back and say, is it their most significant win in the last 3 years? I know they've had a couple of good ones, but that felt
Not 10 goal drubbings.
exactly.
That was a changing of the guard.
a real win.
On the ladder, Melbourne. People would have had Melbourne above them.
Yep.
That was North Melbourne going to be in the bottom three.
Yeah.
That was I think we're better than Melbourne officially.
That was a
they will finish
comprehensive
lower than
win.
us. Yep.
And it was close for a while because I was tracking that game.
It's a good game.
I was busy,
Yeah.
but I was like, oh, geez, North's right in this. And then
did-
I looked at the score and they're up by 10 goals.
I didn't feel like North Melbourne were going to lose that at any stage. And yes, I'm right off Melbourne.
Yeah.
But I just felt like their kids or their players were better players when they stood next to the Melbourne
And-
players.
and the exciting
they've
thing-
started to believe it as
Yeah.
well.
Well, it's more guys. So Sheezer was okay yesterday, but he got a lot of his ball
20,
late.
28, he had 10
McKercher
late, yeah.
wasn't that busy yesterday. Like
There's
they're all
there's
fine.
one that's good at the moment. Not one that's good. There's one I'm loving.
It's Tom Power.
Ooh.
Mate, so
Yeah.
I've got him written down, right? This is why you can't necessarily give up on people too early. Because Tom Power went through stages where Remember the preseason video of him the blind turn and he hit someone up and then he just didn't play much that year.
But
It was awful.
also on the ground, he bounced the ball like a basketball.
Yeah.
He bounced it up to himself and ran off
He
with
was
it.
like the Ben Simmons of the footy world, right? All these preseason highlights and everyone, wait for
Here
Tom
he comes.
Powell, and it's just
He's got a
taken
shot.
years. He was a COVID draft guy as well, from memory, I think.
So he lost a couple of years of development.
Yeah, I just think he's figured out who he is and what he is. And he's actually a really important cog now. Caleb Daniels been a really good addition. We talked about Sherry in the Max Gawn thing. He was excellent. He won in the game, I reckon. But they've brought in these guys.
The pieces they brought in are making sense.
They are. Yeah. Well, they just had no adults. Really.
Parker, Darling, and Caleb Daniel.
All really good.
Yeah.
All really good. So it's exciting for North Melbourne. I think they're finally starting to turn the corner. Hey, can I ask you, how long do you reckon Clarko's going to coach for? Because that's the other one I thought with Simpson. Because he's a North Melbourne man.
He's not jumping ship now.
Do you reckon he's going to go, right, in a year I'll hand over?
Not if they're 12 and...
He's going to sniff the success?
Well, you have to. Like, you've done a fair bit of shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Mick Barlow's sitting there too, don't worry. I'm getting text messages about how well he thinks he's going.
That's when you jump ship.
Yeah.
Because I reckon if Mickey gets the job, our man's head of recruiting at
head of development.
and he's out of here.
As soon as Mick gets the job...
You're out.
I'm gone. So timestamp that. Just make that... You send it to work as well. As soon as Mick Barlow gets a job, I am out of here.
Head of culture.
Well, that's what I think. There was someone going for a role last year, and they said, "I'll get Zave on." And they go, to do what? They go, just a culture
to get
guy.
him in.
Just get him in.
Really?
Just
Bring him
culture
in.
guy.
Just be a guy.
Just walk
be
around
there.
having chats.
Wow.
No, I do, but in fact, I do like spending time with the lesser light.
What club was that?
No, there's no club. But more, I like spending time.
yeah.
I like spending
Yeah.
more time with the lesser players than the big dogs.
Yeah.
Big dogs can look after themselves. I love spending time with the little
Player 18 to 40.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love
okay.
it.
So I'll go quickly to St Kilda. Super impressive. Probably out of nowhere. But there's just one I want to talk about is Jack McRae. 35 disposals, 9 clearances, 10 score involvements.
Old mate here has been riding him off
He's
for
done.
4 years.
Can't do it.
4 years.
Him and Bevo.
And it just
Nah,
turns out that
and
you
Kane
and Bevo
Course.
Yeah.
and
And
Kane
Kane.
were
Yeah.
wrong.
No, we're not wrong.
That
You
was
just-
a phenomenal game of
just
football.
put him on the ball and let him be on the
Tip
ball.
your cap, because
Hey,
that might be the best performance of the weekend.
Hey, I've tipped my cap to Jack McRae. He'll do that for the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Yeah,
They won't win.
But,
But
it just
from the
makes,
dead.
but he'll do that.
they won't win, but
It just makes it like the whole Bevo St Kilda thing. Like, just play them where they're good.
Yeah, no, but,
Don't muck
but
him around and-
I get that, but they weren't being good with him in that position, going backwards and stuff. Like, Bulldogs were better than what St Kilda are.
So you're saying it was just a
Yeah,
fit.
okay.
He didn't fit.
He didn't fit. They wanted to go forward. They wanted to go quickly, not go backwards and little
Yeah, but
handballs
it's-
and whatnot.
but it fits in St
And
Kilda.
right now, would you take Jack McRae or Ed Richards?
Or Ed Richards.
Would you take Jack McRae or Libba?
Well, Liver.
Would you take Jack McRae or Fraser?
Nah, well,
But
Fraser's
no,
a lot
but
this
younger.
who would you
weekend,
take?
or-
Who would you take?
He's a lot younger.
Yeah, so who would you take?
He's playing off halfback.
No, but who would you take?
What's the time frame?
Fraser.
So,
So-
winning
so
game
just-
right
so
now?
where- It's like it-
where do you want
apple or
where do
orange.
you want Jack McRae to play in that team that played on the
He's
weekend?
still bagging him
Yeah, he
out.
still hates him.
What do
No,
you hate? What happened?
I'm protecting Spang
No, no.
and I'm protecting Bevo.
Did you play against Jack McRae?
No. Oh, I would have.
There would have been some. What happened?
No.
Is there a moment out in the field where he's done something to you?
He's been a fantastic footballer.
Here we go.
But
Now he's turning back the other way.
but I'm just saying he just didn't fit in the Bulldogs at that time. Like he was an accumulator, and Bontempelli was in he was fifth or sixth banana, and he was expected to be second banana.
When-
And Trelaw,
When
Yeah,
St
but
Kilda
something-
come to
yeah.
Perth, I don't know if they're coming here this year, but let's try to organise
get
a
a sit
catch
down.
up,
Yeah.
a sit down,
Break
for our
bread.
man and Jack McRae. Break bread. Maybe.
They can talk about that incident to have.
I love Jack McRae.
Oh, now he loves him.
but
Is he Melbourne Grammar or is he like a
he's the
summer
seventh.
rival?
No,
he
he must have been
Yeah.
the rival school.
he
Xavier
down
across the
for
road.
pound would have been the sixth or seventh midfielder of the Doggies
When?
in the last couple of years.
No, but if
Well, yeah,
I
'cause he
still
was
think if they'd played him
marginalised.
properly-
He was
No,
phased out.
I just named 7 that are better than him now.
No, well, you're up.
he
Just
he
move
spun
on.
back to
Nah,
8.
you can
That was a roller coaster.
You can all go and get
He's good. He'll be doing the rest of the year. No,
What
he's
else
still
you
no
got in the
good.
suitcase?
Not talking.
He's got a picture of Jack McRae with a bullet hole in it. He just hates him.
Not talking.
Well, you're next up.
It's your team.
Not talking.
Who's he got? Who's the team?
Essendon. And I'm not even going to introduce them.
My declaration in the
Sardis
early
and
part of the
Perkins are both
season
injured
was,
now as well.
Are they?
Yeah, it's just he just came through.
Oh,
They're
you're
not playing
kidding.
this week.
So
Well,
What a
Sardis.
blow.
I said
Sardis-
bottom 4 list. I said a bottom four
you're
list.
right. Yeah.
I told you, do the exercise,
Stinks.
go through the team and tell me that's not a bottom. Now, I'm not saying they'll finish bottom four because Brad Scott's a really good coach. He might be able to get them to sixth
Jesus.
last or seventh last.
What?
But they're bad. They're going to be really bad.
They had 36 scoring shots against them on the weekend.
Mate, they're going to be awful.
Do yourself something. I don't know what you say. Find Matthew Lloyd on the Sunday Footy Show. Unpack the defensive efforts of Essendon.
Yep.
Matthew Lloyd, one of the top 5 bombers of all time, probably.
Yeah.
He went hard and did not hold back and went after Zach Reid. Went after Ben Mackay.
Yep.
Went after the
He had a
drafting.
crack at Durham, didn't he, at one point?
Not sure.
Was
but
that not him? That someone else did.
Not sure, but went after the drafting, the first round draft picks. He went after the lot of them, and it was good TV. It was nothing we wouldn't have all said, but for a top 5 of the club history to come out and point.
I reckon that's always means more when it's someone who
much more because he cares.
And he's also not someone who pots people, Lloydie, without thinking about it. He's
And-
not a
but-
hot take guy.
But it wasn't throwing the toys out. It was just factual.
Balanced.
Factual.
Yeah. This is what's happening. And I don't
so
care
find
that I've got...
I watched it last night.
Because he'd still have mates at the club too. That's the thing. Maybe not too many.
No, he's still of course he
time. Stretches things
No,
out.
but champs are still like he could walk in and
Absolutely.
If he wanted to walk in and have a shower with the boys after the game randomly,
They'd let him.
No one flinches. Lloydo's in the shower with the boys. Like, no one flinches at it.
It takes 10 months to realise Matthew Lloyd's homeless.
I love Matty Lloyd.
Were you a big? Because
you were
Bombers.
Bombers,
Matt Hurd and Lloyd, mate. Oh,
They were you guys.
get that grass into the air.
Pull the socks up. Pull the socks up.
Shorts up high, tucked in. He was so
He
good.
was such a neat player.
He was so good.
So neat.
But Essendon, and Hobbs and those guys.
It's going to be real bad. Carlton, shame about Sardis because that was probably his best game.
Yeah, but he's
What's going on there?
Sorry, that was me clicking on Lloydie.
Carlton,
I was watching his highlights.
that was better, but still not enough.
they're not good.
Same suspects didn't perform. You rattled them off last week.
It's the bottom 10, and it's the bottom 10 that you
Well,
mentioned.
I reckon it's now like a bottom 14. Like it's getting longer.
Yeah.
The bottom is getting longer. Kerno clearly wasn't match fit. Like he barely touched a footy. He just was not in it all day. And look, you give him a mulligan because it's his first one back.
Yeah, of course you give him. And he's a champion.
But that's again,
regardless.
Voss. Like it's okay to say like, it probably went a bit early. Like he obviously didn't have his best game, but he was like really. You don't value
It's the same
the
as
stuff that we
Bolton for
value.
Freo. Just get him in the team.
Well, Harry,
Let
what
him
was wrong?
play.
What was wrong with Harry?
Mackay,
Yeah,
illness, wasn't it?
was it?
What
What
happened?
do you
Well,
say?
there was a lot of rain around. There was that storm that was meant to hit.
Oh, true. Yeah, it was
in the
pissing
middle
down
of the
before.
So you
game.
think they pulled him out because of the rain?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
That's
But
his,
didn't
that's
you
his
pull
I know
Kerno,
something
didn't you?
voice.
No, I don't know anything. I have zero.
What do you know
insight
at
there.
Carlton?
I was not when I looked at the weather and I was watching it closely. It was like 20 mils of rain. No, it was meant to be 6 mils of rain at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
But they brought in another tool, but it's a tall defender.
yeah, I just looked at it and thought, oh, I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure I'm talking absolute out my ass, but I wasn't surprised that a tall came out of that team
Do you know who?
because Hawthorn were already small as it is.
Do you know who tries hard all the time is Silvani?
Yeah.
Like he's not. He's never going to be one of their 5 best players or even their 10 best players, but he gives a shit, and he's always at everything.
He does give a shit. De Koning tries.
some low numbers
Cripper's
here.
Cripper.
Yeah.
And then
Collins,
Wiedering,
Williams.
Wiedering's a really good player.
Wiedering. Sam Walsh.
Hasn't hit what we
I
need.
love Sam Walsh, but he's got one All-Australian. I know he's had injuries, and we went through a list this year in the top 25 midfielders in the
Yeah,
comp.
and I don't know if we got him.
Well, we
in there.
named 1 or 2 from each club, but he was in and around.
We
yeah.
set the bar really high for Sam Walsh.
No,
Like we think Brownlow medalist.
Because that's what he
Multi
came in like.
Australian.
I reckon I've backed him for Brownlows every year. Now.
Correct.
Like his
Yeah.
bar in my eyes is bigger than Cripper's, higher than Cripper's.
Wow.
Yeah.
The next 3 is Bulldogs, Pies, and then West Coast to gather round. They have to win 2 of those to be back on track.
I don't think they'll win 2 of those.
Well, they'll beat West Coast, you would think,
Yeah.
but who knows after yesterday. And
No, we said that last year. Remember, we thought West Coast were a chance, and they won by like 80.
100.
Dogs, Pies, 50-50.
I'm really liking the Dogs, by the way, just to watch.
Yeah.
I love Libba as captain.
They're fun to watch.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
GWS we'll wrap up with. Another team I had to buy, but this is one where I actually know who they're playing because this is my thing.
Oh, good.
Giants and Hawks is probably better than like a, what time it'll be there? 7:30 start. in
Hold on, is
Launceston.
that who's playing?
Giants Hawks this weekend.
Oh,
in Lonnie.
what day's that?
Yeah, it's in Tasmania.
Saturday night.
Saturday. Oh, Saturday night. A night.
Saturday Arvo. Well, night there. It's 4:30 in WA time. This is what I'm saying. It's a bit of a like, you want that to be the Thursday, Friday, right? And you really
That
chuck
should be
in.
Thursday night footy or Friday night footy.
So yeah,
And wait until you get to the weather, and it'll be 6 degrees windy. and-
Yeah, this is what I mean, like,
That's
you probably-
unfair on Tassie. That
but-
is unfair on Tassie. They actually do not often put up wet games, but it's always windy.
Yeah.
Just those small stadiums in
But this
general.
is probably the best.
There's no coverage.
This will be the best game that they've played, like on paper, in Launceston in a long time, right? But then you think like there's some big good memories in Launceston, like ones that stick out. Like
They've had some cracking games out there, but this is on paper.
You would expect this to be anywhere that you can
Giants get some players back.
Yeah, Tom's playing already,
Tom's
but Hogan
already
should play.
Yeah.
Stringer's a chance, I think.
When are the bad boys back?
McMuffin and
Which bad boys?
and who's the other little fella we like? Harvey Thomas.
Yeah, those
I reckon
guys.
those guys
Harvey Thomas,
are free now, aren't they? Because weren't
surely.
they 2 gamers?
Oh,
and then
I think there might have been a bit of a difference on a couple of them.
Faye was 4. He had a 4
He had a
gamer.
mare, did he?
he got the big stick.
Yeah, but Harvey.
But if Hogan and Stringer or even one of them is in there, that's another elevation for them.
Yeah, they'll become.
Who's going to win that game? Hawthorn in Tassie, you think?
But also interesting, Buckley and Sam Taylor are the best 2 key defenders.
But who do you play on?
But
Yeah, true. Well, yeah.
McDonald out is a loss to Hawthorn. Just he takes an extra piece.
Yeah,
But
that sucks.
yeah. Anyway, that's going to be a good game. I am looking forward to that.
You know who played well for Hawthorn? Did we do Hawthorn? Josh Ward.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
he's
Cam
come on.
McKenzie.
Good shout out.
Cam
for,
McKenzie, I'm loving.
Yeah, Cam
Yeah.
McKenzie.
Yeah.
You boys jumped off Cam McKenzie.
I don't think I jumped off Cam
stayed
McKenzie.
on.
I didn't jump off. I just
I
did not
stayed
jump on.
He's got those little fast
He only
feet.
plays like 70%, 65% game time.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I wonder if it's his fitness or it's just luck of the draw. That's what you're meant to play. Because
Sometimes
on the
the
weekend,
rotations
he
get
was
you.
the best player on the ground early, I thought, Cam McKenzie, and then he only played 65%. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
poor Cam.
That's us.
I think that's us. Right, this has been the Hardball Gets AFL show. We are brought to you by Tab Touch. Got the touch? Download the Tab Touch app today. What's gambling really costing you? We'll see you again tomorrow for the mailbag.